I'm 35 years old and I have $0 saved for retirement. None. After 15 years of working, my retirement account balance is exactly zero. So can I still retire? I ran the math 4 different ways with 4 different money contribution, and the answer surprised me. Here's everything I learned, and the 4 variables that determine whether you can still retire starting from nothing in your 30s. Here's the situation most personal finance advice doesn't address. You're 35, you spent the last decade focused on surviving, not investing. Maybe you had debt, maybe you moved cities, maybe you had a year where you couldn't work. Whatever the reason, you're sitting at 35 with zero or close to zero. And you're wondering if it's too late. Half of Americans or Singaporeans have less than $50,000 saved by 55. So you're not in unusual territory. You're in the majority. The question isn't whether you're behind. You know you are. The question is whether the math still works. And that depends on 4 variables that I'll walk through in the rest of this video. The 4 variables are your current age, your current savings, how much you can save each month, and your expected investment return. You control 3 of them. The 4th, the market, you don't control, but you can estimate. Let me walk through 4 scenarios. Same age, same current savings, but different monthly contribution. By the end, you'll see exactly what changes the math and what doesn't. Scenario 1, the realistic version. You have zero saved today, you're 35, you can put away $200 a month. That's $50 a week. Not nothing, but not heroic either. I ran the math assuming an average 7% annual return, which is roughly the long-term return of a broad US index fund after inflation. 7% for 30 years, $200 a month starting from zero. So here's the number. $227,000 at 65. 30 years from now. Is $227,000 enough? Let's check the math. The 4% withdrawal rule says you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio per year in retirement. 4% of $227,000 is $9,080 a year, plus expected social security and blah blah blah. Let's say $18,000 a year. If you're in US, that's $27,000 a year total. So is $27,000 a year livable? Depends where you live. In much of the US, yes. Barely. In Singapore, Manila, or London, less so. In a low cost of living country, comfortably. The verdict on scenario 1 is enough to retire but barely. You'll be living a frugal retirement, not luxurious, not destitute. Scenario 2, the doable version. Same starting point, 0 at 35, but you can put away $500 a month. That's $125 a week. Still doable for most working people in their 30s, especially with a raise or a side income. Same 7% return, same 30 years. The number, as you can see, $567,000. 4% withdrawal, $22,680 a year, plus social security, $40,000 total per year. $40,000 a year is livable middle class retirement in most countries. Not wealthy, not struggling. The median US household income for retirees is around $50,000. You're at 40, close. The verdict on scenario 2, yes, you can retire comfortably on $500 a month if you start at 35. Scenario 3, the serious version. Same starting point, but you put away $1,000 a month. That's about $33 a day, $230 a week. $1,000 a month requires either a decent income, serious budget discipline, or both. Same 7% return, same 3 years. The number, $1,134,000. That's over $1 million. From 0 at 35 with $1,000 a month with 30 years. 4% withdrawal, $45,360 a year. Plus social security, $63,000 total per year. $63,000 a year is solidly upper middle class retirement. You can travel, you can help kids with college, you can live without worry. The verdict on scenario 3, this is a version where retirement becomes genuinely comfortable. Scenario 4, the honest version. Why if you are not 35 but 40 or 45? The math changes dramatically. 40, 0 save $500 a month, 7%, 25 years. $378,000. 45, 0 save $500 a month, 7%, 20 years, $260,000. 50, 0 save $500 a month, 7%, 15 years, $173,000. The math is brutal the longer you wait. Every 5 years of delay roughly cuts your retirement in half at the same monthly contribution. This is why starting at 35 matters more than specific dollar amount. Starting at 30 with 200 a month beats starting at 40 with 500 a month. The years of compounding are doing more work than the dollar amount. So can you still retire if you're 35 with zero saved? Yes, the math works for almost any money contribution above 200. If you start now and stay consistent, the math stops working around 45 if you haven't started by then. 3 of the 4 variables are in your control: your age, your current savings, and your monthly contribution. The market is the only one you can't control, and over 3 years, average returns evens out. The bottleneck isn't the math. The bottleneck is whether you actually set up the auto transfer and leave it alone for 3 years. 3 things can break this math for 30-something specifically. Kids. Average childcare cost in the US is now over $1,000 a month per child. 2 kids, $24,000 a year. That's enough to break the retirement math if you're not careful. Divorce. The average divorce costs about the same as the year of the retirement savings. Don't get divorced, but if you're going to, get the math right first. Job loss. The average 30-something will change job 4 times in this decade. Each transition includes a gap. A 6-month gap with no income and no retirement contribution can set you back 2 years. So here's the fix. Build a $5,000 cash buffer first before you start the retirement math seriously. The buffer is what protects the math from this risk. Starting at 35 with zero save isn't a death sentence. The math works for almost everyone willing to set up the auto transfer and leave it alone. The 30-somethings who don't retire are the ones who never set up the system in the first place. So if you guys enjoy this kind of video, please do subscribe so you guys don't miss on my next video.